Hello and welcome to the Tifo Football Podcast. I'm Joe Devine, and today I'm delighted to be joined by
Joe Devine.
Oh, by Joe Devine.
Hello.
Hello. I'm delighted to be joined by Joe Devine. That's true. I mean, it's true. Not every day. Some days I wake up and go, oh, oh God.
Oh, I'm JJ Bull.
Yes, that's you. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Iain Macintosh. Joe Devine.
Hello.
Hello. All right. How's it going?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Nice to see you back here.
It's been a long time.
Great.
I was surprised security let me in.
Yeah, well, me too. But then if
I wondered why they looked like they were sleeping at the bottom of the lift.
Oh, they're not sleeping.
listeners also, if they stick around to the very end of the show, they'll work out the real reason that Ian's here. It's a little Easter egg for listeners.
Take me back.
Yeah, get all the way to the end. And also, we're delighted to be joined by Zealand Shannon. Hi, Zealand.
Oh, yes, all the way from America.
Yeah, it's very early for Zealand. It's very, very early. He hasn't had any food yet either, have you?
No.
You're hungry.
And I cannot stress enough how much I got straight out of bed, got in here, turned on my $10 ring light, screamed, and then joined the Zoom call. That has been my entire morning.
You don't need to stress that. It's perfectly obvious from the way you look and sound. So don't worry about it. Listeners will they'll adjust to that.
Thank you.
We all wake up. Now listen. Let me tell you what's on the docket for today. As a starting point, this is supposed to be a show about Football Manager, but as a starting point, we discuss which current Premier League manager would survive best in the wild. Best in the wild. Apparently, this was related to Nottingham Forest sacking Nuno Espírito Santo, which we also talk about. Starting the show with a little bit of hot news there, and also even hotter news and a little wet. Ange Postecoglou will be replacing Nuno at Nottingham Forest. So we talk about what that might look like before we descend into the world of Football Manager. And how many tea bags does Iain use in a teapot? Find out a rule for life from a fast boomer there. Also, we have, so we play some Football Manager related games later on in the episode. Stick around for those. And we give some tips. Well, we don't. I don't. They give some tips on how to make Football Manager a bit easier to get back into. Because if you're anything like me, you don't want to have to do all of the stuff, you know? You want some of the joy, the victory. You want to feel good about yourself.
I think Ange Postecoglou would actually be very good in the wild now.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think he would, you'd leave him and he would form like a tribe with people.
Yeah.
And because he'd definitely make a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Well,
it's also like
the scene from the Pirates of the Caribbean where they leave, Johnny Depp gets stranded on an island and then they come back to the island and he's the chief of all the people. That would be Ange Postecoglou with the face paint and the bone, the headdress.
Yeah. I don't want to cast aspersions about all people from Australia, but the temptation is to believe also that they know a little bit about working out in the bush, in the what do they call it? The outback. The outback. Yeah.
Are you suggesting Ange goes walkabout for inspiration?
I wonder. I know that I'm sure there are plenty of people in Australia who just live in cities and don't have any idea about this.
It's always very weird in Neighbours when Helen Daniels said she was going for walkabout and then she'd vanish off into the bush because she seemed like a very middle-class sort of artisty type.
She seemed like a home bird.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I did not expect that.
I didn't expect that.
Madge, on the other hand, I reckon she could pull the head off a snake.
It's a shame we didn't talk about Neighbours more in the podcast, isn't it?
One for the kids there.
It had the best theme music as well, of course, with the exception of one British TV series that we won't mention, but did have excellent theme music. We won't mention it though because something was cut pretty early in the episode for something to be cut. In fact, as I remember rightly as well, quite a lot of things were cut near the beginning of the episode, weren't they? So we'll get through those. And for all the people in the comments that say, "Oh, please post the unedited version somewhere on the internet," you don't understand. It's not allowed.
I was right about the dogs, and when you look up that story...
Don't say anything more about the dogs. No, Steve's already cut too much from the show. No more dog talk, okay? Oh, God. Yeah, I don't see that on the intro.
I get
either,
about 40% of these references, by the way. I have no idea. Like that, the entire scene that just happened that got cut, I couldn't even tell you what started it in the first place.
It was bad, I'll tell you. It was real bad stuff. Anyway, that's it. That's the show. Hope you enjoy it. And, that's it. Well, where else to begin, of course, than with Nottingham Forest, who were the first Premier League team of the season. It is only September to lose their manager. They didn't lose him. I think they set him free, or he left. I actually don't know. Do you know what?
They released him into the forest.
Yeah, they actually drove to the forest and they said, go for a little walk, and then bang, slammed the door,
right,
drove off.
That's very
wheels
rude.
Screeching. It's awful, really.
Hopefully he's got Uber on his phone.
Yeah,
or
no signal out
No
there.
signal in the forest.
Another rideshare app, maybe.
He might now just be fashioning himself basic tools
Right.
and just trying to sustain himself.
Have to say, though, if of all the Premier League managers, the current Premier League managers, you had to pick one who you think would best survive a subsistence lifestyle, I think Nuno might not be number one, but he would certainly be up there. He's definitely not low down. He seems like a very capable man. Who's your number one, Iain?
I mean, I don't know about the present pack, but
Something was cut. Say no more. Something was cut there. But Iain, back to you. Who of the current crop of Premier League managers, who's your number one for living a great subsistence lifestyle? Who do you think would survive best out there in the wilds?
you know Keith Andrews at Brentford?
No.
Like he's got a very sort of steely demeanour. That's a high pressure job.
That's true.
He doesn't look flapped in any way.
Okay.
I think he could be unflappable.
Yeah.
He's right now cast into a dangerous situation and coping admirably. So
True, yeah.
he's got reassuring eyes and a good thick head of hair as well.
That's very
So
important.
if you are at risk of exposure, like all the heat leaves your head.
Yeah.
So he's one step.
Plus, you could cut your hair off and fashion a rope out of it.
He probably could. It's thick stuff.
It's thick hair, yeah. JJ, what do you think? Who of the current crop of Premier League managers, which one would survive best in the wild alone?
Eddie Howe strikes me as a man who would have scout badges and would know how to tie a knot.
He definitely knows how to make a fire without any matches, right?
I think so. I think Thomas Frank would. I would fully. Once I had this flatmate who was from Singapore, and he said that for one of their army things, they dropped him. I don't know if this is true or not.
Like
but
national service.
I think so. Yeah,
right.
and they dropped him in a jungle. I don't know, and then he ended up having to survive with his crew. That's what they did to their survival training, and he ended up killing and eating a Komodo dragon. That's what he told me.
This doesn't sound true.
I know, but he told me it.
Okay, well, I believe it's true.
I think
that
Thomas Frank
someone
could do
told
that.
you that they killed and ate a Komodo dragon.
He had to punch it to death. He said.
He punched it to death.
I think Thomas Frank could do that. I believe in him.
Yeah, those things are poisonous. I mean,
Yeah, that's a high risk
Venomous.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, you
Have
gotta be
you
careful with
not
it.
seen the incredible Attenborough narrated video of one just following a big buffalo around for a week?
It's a deer, isn't it?
No, there's one of it following an oxen around or something. That it's a water
It's a
buffalo.
big animal, yeah. Because
yeah.
they used to think they were venomous, then it turns out it was bacteria, but then it turns out after that it is venomous.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
What
What a
about you,
rollercoaster.
Zealand? Which current Premier League manager would survive best in the wild?
I'm going to go with Graham Potter. I think he'd be able to use his magical education from Hogwarts to whip up something. I'm just assuming he's related. But he should be able to, pull something out of a bag, or he'd probably have an entire living room set up by the first evening.
He may well do. He's also got sort of wild caveman energy. I can imagine him with longer hair and a beard, sort of shouting a bear out of a cave. Do you know what I mean?
There is something primeval in his eyes.
Yeah.
I can
Strikes
see
me as
it.
having a Royal Navy look about him. The senior
Also,
service, the only one where you can grow a beard. There's a certain
true.
redoubtable
but
courage, I
the
think.
kind of Royal Navy guy that got stranded on Pitcairn Island, after the ship mutinied.
What an adaptable group they are, the Premier League managers, it turns out. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, one of them's gone now. That's Nuno Espírito Santo. He was the Nottingham Forest manager. I think the writing was on the wall for the last couple of weeks when he started to say things in interviews.
Yeah, I think he wrote the writing on the wall.
He wrote
for
he wrote
himself.
his own writing on the wall.
What off.
Well, The Athletic reported on Monday that Nuno was set to leave before the club confirmed his departure, quote, following recent circumstances, is the quote here. And then very swiftly afterwards, Ange Postecoglou was appointed as Nuno's successor, giving the Australian the chance to retain the Europa League trophy that he won with Tottenham last season. How very exciting. I mean, JJ, let me start with you. Is this a disaster? Or, I mean, because it seems very much like, given the problems that Tottenham had last season, this could be a disaster.
Why do you say that?
Well, because everyone knows exactly how Postecoglou wants to play. He seems very inflexible. He now has worse players than he had before to do that. And the team that he coached last season finished 16th or 17th in the Premier League.
Yeah, but it'll be fine.
Do you think?
Like Nuno is, when he was at Wolves, did very well. So he talked up very highly as a coach with people who are very close to him. Like Iain Cathro speaks really highly of him. And then, like Nuno did when he was at Wolves, he basically had the Portugal international team as his starting 11. There was a good team he had at Wolves that then finished really high up, so he looked really decent. His Spurs team, he got fired for about 17 games or something like that. It was boring and it wasn't not very good. Forest, they
won the first 4 though, I think, didn't they? Or the first 3 or something.
First 3 games.
Won manager of the month as well.
He won manager of the month,
managers do that. And so at Forest, he goes in and they start off very well, but they are getting quite lucky and they're taking the lead early often and then defending it, and he makes them harder to play against later on in the games by changing the shape, mostly make them more of a back five. And that's the kind of luck that they rode. They shot over their XG. Everyone's been through this. It was like an overperformance in expected goals that was always going to correct because they should actually have been about 14th or 15th. That's where they should have been. And so over time, in fact, I can see, because I've been doing some research, we're doing a show this week for the Athletic FC, and we're talking about this a little bit. Round about 20 games in, the expected goals for and against flip from being more goals for and less goals against. You know what I mean? So basically, they were really good. Then it flips around, and they start doing very poorly towards the end of the season. Starts falling apart. This season, they've clearly got change in style. They're up to like 6th most possession in the league, and normally they're right down the bottom 4 or something like that, because you can sit back, hit them on the counter, and that's what you can do. So they're trying to change the way they want to play. I think their wage bill puts them roughly mid-table, so this is probably where they should finish, really, if you're going along with a lot of the metrics that we've used over time. And so I think under Nuno, they were probably just going to level out anyway, and I think changing it is not the worst thing. I think looking at how, there's not a direct example, but the way that Chelsea kept firing managers and everyone's like, oh my God, they're firing a manager, that's bad. And then they kept winning things all the time. It probably is a bit of a truth to that it keeps you on your toes, and you can then get a bit of the new manager bounce, whether it exists or not, from each person that comes in. Whether Postecoglou will work, I think it's just an easy thing to say, is that like, oh, he's super attacking, that's what will happen. I don't think he's so naive he'd go in and just do like, we're going to be all out attack now. Oh, that's I'll live and die by the sword. I think he probably also has a bit of room now to be a bit more pragmatic and flexible without it compromising his principles.
I mean, I think Tottenham gradually got more defensive over the back end of last season, and no one who watched the Europa League final would say Ange Postecoglou is welded to attacking football.
Well, yeah.
So I think some of that stuff has been overplayed. He's not like a Keeganite worshipper at the altar of all-out attack football.
But that is fun to watch.
It's great fun to watch.
And that is the name of the game.
But I think, as you say, taking the team that generally sits deepest and has the least of the ball and suddenly trying to change them, I think he's too smart for that. My worry would just be what he's walking into. I don't think we know the full details of what's caused the fallout, but we know it's a particularly volatile chairman. You've got a new director of football who will be keen to exert authority, and maybe that's where the problems have come from.
That's the guy who came from Arsenal, right?
Edu,
yeah.
Yes.
Who is? Am I right in thinking he's like the director of football for all the Marinakis clubs, not just Forest, right?
Yes. Yeah. Don't get me started on that. Multi-club ownership being a toxic poison in our game. Anyway, but I'm a believer in the Alex Ferguson maxim: you don't choose your club, you choose your chairman.
Right.
And I think that's such a high-risk job to take.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a Nottingham Forest side that finished so highly. It's actually a Nottingham Forest side that I think the owner expected to finish even higher. They were third with 8 games to go. They only won 2 of those games and lost 4 and tumbled out. The benchmark of what constitutes success in the owner's eyes is so high That's going to be really, really difficult to achieve. And I wouldn't want to be the guy who replaced Nuno. I might want to be the guy who replaces Ange, though.
Yeah. Well, I got quite excited because I thought Mourinho kept making comments about how he was interested in a job in the bottom half of the Premier League after his recent spell in Turkey. And the combination of Mourinho and Marinakis really excited me as a possibility.
It would be funny.
It would be funny. But Ange has got some sort of, he's got some fun personality qualities. Maybe he'll make it fun for us.
Yes, he's very principled, and I think everyone enjoyed the way that he portrayed himself in press conferences, and he seems to have good, strong morals. There's a lot of I've found some quotes recently of Marinakis talking about it's the shared Greek identity that they have. Right. That's is probably a reason for this, and that Marinakis wants his guy in there, and so he's got that. In terms of how they're actually going to play, I think Ian's exactly right. Like they could basically. I think what's going to happen is that they'll end up losing some games more than last season, and they'll just end up sort of mid-table where they should be anyway. Right. And I don't know whether that will be considered good enough at the end of the season.
What about you, Zee, then? Do you have any opinions on this?
No, I was going to point out the shared Greek thing. I think Marinakis is just he is a character, but I think he has a soft spot for Greeks. Like if you study just the way he's interacted with the world of football, it's kind of like Greece against the world in some ways. And so I think Ange Postecoglou having that Greek heritage is going to buy him a lot more time than somebody that doesn't. Like he's really going to believe in him more. People are probably underselling this. As for Ange, there is one attribute that I think gets overlooked with him is he could walk into a pub and get everybody in that pub to go attack the pub next door if he wanted to. Like he has that galvanizing ability. Even if he's getting fired, everybody on the team loves him. And I once made a video in a different life about his entire career trajectory. And every single team that he's managed, every place that he's gone his entire career, you get the feeling the entire team would die for him. I mean, actually go out there and die for him. So he's going to walk into that dressing room, get everybody believing. Clearly, as with Tottenham in the league last season, that doesn't always produce great results, but it is a positive impact. And I think it's something that's going to allow him to, that and being Greek is going to allow him to weather the Marinakis storm more than Nuno could.
I hope it goes well, but I just think if I was him, I'd have waited around for the West Ham job.
Right.
And got stuck in there.
Forest got a much better squad and I think ambitions and
I think
you're
dreams. Right. Well, I think you're right about the better squad, but I think if you come in at West Ham where they are right now with the mood around the club and your Ange and all of those credits that Zealand has correctly marked out, that's a great job because then you don't have to lift them very far and you already look like you're brilliant.
Yeah.
I would think it's also, if we see this a lot of times before as well, like the injuries he had at Spurs were ridiculous. Like it is relevant. They shouldn't have finished as low as they did, but also maybe they should because they had no players.
They finished 17th.
Yeah,
Come on, man. Even the second team at Spurs should be not finishing 17th, right?
Maybe, but they also won a European trophy.
Yeah.
And also the season was gone. You just write it off.
I don't know. I think it's a fair question. I think, like, personally, I will say, and I know I'm just the host here, okay, but I will say that I think both of you have underplayed the extent to which he didn't change. For the last couple of Europa League games, he started to change a little bit, and it was a feast of joy for people who have been asking him to do that for many years. And also, it's tournament football, and I think he made the point around the time that it was fair to have a different approach to that kind of competition. But Spurs did badly in the league because everyone worked out how to play against them and they played the same every week, right? That is the story. We know that he played the same way at Celtic and the same way at the club prior to that, and he is gonna play the same way at Forest. I feel like
I think
he would. I think he'll change on that, right?
I think he'll change
it. All of a sudden, he's going to be a different person and play a different style of football. Like, on what basis do you have to say that?
I just think he will.
It's just the thought.
Yeah, I just think he has to.
I'm curious. I agree. I think he would. I think he would have to. I don't see how feasibly he could play the same way.
When you say play the same way, I think you'd be referring mostly to like build up and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's mostly the same build up, and then
the same riskiness in terms of like the lack of rest defense, right?
Yes, yeah, but then the rest of defence's problems come from the way he uses fullbacks a lot of the time, and so they leave these big spaces to cover, and so they've got huge amounts of distance to make up for when things turn over, which happens quite a lot.
Yeah,
because of the way they're playing in like the most elite, complicated league in the world. Look, they only had the 4th worst expected goals against last season. They weren't. It's not. Yeah. Like
anyway,
it is bad. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I
just have a feeling because I think it's.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm just being contrarian again because everyone's like, well, Nuno plays deep and Postecoglou's going to be really high. So
I didn't want to say it out loud, but you did it, and then he did it, and then Zealand said some stuff about being Greek, which was nice. I like Zealand's, but you both of you trouble.
Hummus.
One of you's wearing aftershave, by the way. Who's wearing aftershave?
I think that's me.
You smell incredible.
Thank you.
It's
really kind.
but it's actually kind of freaking me out because it smells. You ever have this when you're on the tube or the train or something, and you catch a whiff of, and you go, that smells like my old girlfriend or my mother or like scent memory, like olfactory.
I can't
memory.
really smell. I think I am also wearing aftershave.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't think it's you though because I see you regularly, and I
don't always wear it.
Okay, let me smell you.
Oh no.
Incredible for the audio listeners.
No. Okay, let me smell you.
Yeah, come on over.
Watch the cables.
You gonna smell me too, or am I left out?
It's Iain. I think it's Iain.
Ian smells like your ex-girlfriend.
Or your mum.
Either way. Cut that out. Something got cut. Woo! Smell memory. I'm just saying, smell memory is there's a strong smell memory here. Anyway, I'm surrounded by some of the finest football managers that I know, that are near me, that I've spoken to before, that I could easily get to come to do the show. And we've gathered because so very soon we're going to see a release of a new game, which we didn't have last year. The Football Manager 25 doesn't exist. Never. Well, I guess in some form it did exist, and they chose not to release it because they thought it would be disappointing to audiences. They rolled on a year. We're going to see the release of FM26 pretty soon. So the first thing I wanted to ask, and I'm going to go round one by one, is when you get your hands on this game for the first time, I'm very curious, based on real footballing realities in the real world, which team are you going to pick to play as? And I'll start with you, JJ. So I imagine you, as an Aberdeen fan, you might want to play as Aberdeen or whatever. Leave that to the side for what. If you had to pick a team based on their current situation in the real world, who would you pick?
Oh, the most fun one's like Man United just now.
Right.
It's also like whenever you start a new game, basically the first one should be like a learn how to play it game. So unless you do really well with it, you can keep going.
Yeah.
Someone like that's quite good. Someone who's sort of mid-tablist in the Premier League's also good. Like someone like Everton's always quite decent.
Sure.
Ian always does.
Why would you pick Man United?
Because you can show the world how you would do it. Say, just play 4-2-3-1. Oh, look, I'm finishing 4th now.
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you ever think the game, like, one of the things that makes me think the game isn't that good as a simulation of real life?
Tell me what that is.
Well, that you can quite easily win with Manchester United, and like clearly some of the best football managers in the world can't do that.
Well, yeah, it's because the important thing to note at this point is that this is a fictional computer game, and the world within it is not real.
No, I know, but like
and the small
way that
computer people do not respond as normal people would. So, like when I talk to them, I don't know whether they had to take their kids to school that morning or not because they don't have them in the game.
Right.
Unless they do at a macro level, and much like we live in a simulation, they also live within our simulation.
Right. Yeah. I guess that would be at a micro level.
That's what I said.
Oh, is that what you said?
In my version of the simulation.
Who would you pick in?
I always start unemployed for my first. I treat it more like an RPG than a simulation. Yeah,
even when it's the first time.
Especially when it's the first time.
Wow.
And then I like to turn up to games.
What do you like? But when you start as unemployed, because I don't really play Football Manager, do you have to set your experience level? And
yes.
Are you setting that at maximum? Or?
No, because that's like playing it on easy mode.
Oh.
Again, with the RPG, I kind of want it to reflect real life. And 28 years ago, I was signed by the non-league football team Falmouth Town. This is absolutely true. Falmouth Town.
Sorry, in real life or in the game?
In real life.
In real life?
In real life. I went for a trial and
Really?
I got signed. And all right, I never played a game.
Yeah.
And I got signed by the third team, not the first team. And, I spent more time smoking than playing football that year. But I was signed by Falmouth Town.
Right.
So I think that qualifies me for semi-pro.
Right. Fair enough.
So I always go in at that level.
Okay.
And then I just give myself maximum badges. Because I know there is an option to start with no badges and then do courses and stuff. But there's no fun in that.
That's just boring.
Yeah, I just assume that I've got all my badges through 30-odd years of playing this game. Right. And then I just dive in and see where I end up.
And generally, how long are you unemployed for in the game?
Sacking season comes around about early November, late October, early November.
Okay.
So you can watch a few games. Turn up in the stadium, get people talking about you.
Is that what you do?
Sometimes see what people are doing. Just immerse yourself into the universe a bit.
Does that happen because you get to I know you get to see the media midweek or whatever. If you show up at a game, are there ever headlines that Macintosh showed up at the?
Iain Macintosh was at the game. The media are at a loss to explain why.
This guy who played for third team Falmouth Town.
If you go watch England, it starts describing you as a fervent patriot who checks in on his country whenever he can.
Good Lord. He's all around the regional towns putting flags up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a roundabout that hasn't been painted.
Steve Hankey shaking his head at us. We must cease, Iain. Okay, fine. And Zenon, what about you? Which team are you going to try and get your hands on first? Or are you going to start unemployed like Iain?
No, I think that the only logical solution is to start typically like Indonesian second division and just get a lay of the land, outside of the... Everybody's always managing in the Premier League, but to be honest, I didn't manage in England for years when I was playing this game at first. My first save, I'm not even kidding, was Indonesian second division. But they should be adding a couple of new leagues. Usually there's at least one new league that's coming into the game after 2 years off. There should be a couple of new leagues. So just whatever those new leagues are, go grab a team in them and just saddle up and go for something. I mean, they added Latvia to the game not that long ago. I mean, who on earth knows anything about the Latvian league outside of RFS that made it into the Europa League somehow last year, right? So go grab a team in one of those leagues and have fun with them. The Premier League will always be there for you.
Well, does that mean then for you, like that your enjoyment of the game is not based on knowing who the players are already? It's like learning who the players are.
See, my advantage in coming into the world of football and Football Manager was stupidity and lack of knowledge. Because being American, I do not have this kind of ingrained knowledge of players in the Premier League or players in Bundesliga or whatever, right? It doesn't naturally come to me the way it does for you guys. Like when I'm in England and I'm sitting in my hotel and I turn on the TV, you turn on Sky Sports and it's all they're talking about, right? It just gets beamed into your brain. In the United States, it's not the same way. I learned a lot of what I know about the world of football through Football Manager. As a result, the game that I fell in love with playing, I didn't know the players. I just didn't. It didn't matter what league I was in. And so I am perhaps indefinitely more comfortable and enjoy it more playing in a world where I have no idea who anybody is than most people that grew up in a world where football or soccer, as I'd call it, is the only sport.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, JJ, when you start the game, let's say you are playing as Manchester United, not someone from the second Indonesian league or the Latvian league. What's your strategy going to be like? I know you said you're like working out how the game is new, what was different about it from the last one or whatever, but generally speaking, what do you do?
Well, it's quite a good device to prove people wrong. It's like your Michael Jordan thing. So I'll just set the team up as who I would play, what I would want to do. Like even when I would play Aberdeen, I would play what I want to, what I think they should do, because I'll show you that's how we should do it.
Who are you proving wrong? Is it your parents?
People.
People.
No, they don't care.
Your parents don't care.
I don't think they mind. I think I'm fine to do whatever I want.
Oh. Who are you proving wrong? You mean like how the
There's always someone you got to prove wrong.
Who is it now?
Someone always doubts what you're doing.
So when you get FM 26 and you start to play it, who are you proving wrong in that first game?
Well, I will...
The Pope? Who?
No, I don't care what he does. I will go to Aberdeen and I will try and show how I would do what Jimmy Talline's doing.
Right.
And I think maybe this might work rather than what he's trying. Same with Man United. Like in the last game I was playing on 24, I did it to try and replicate what Ruben Amorim was doing to see whether it would work and see what all the different holes are and that sort of thing. It's quite good.
Yeah.
But in terms of what my strategy would be in the new one, I'd play it to to win all the stuff.
It's just play to win. Yeah,
Sort
but
of,
what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, how are you? Have you got a system you're going to go to first, or is it just going to be based on the team that you pick?
Well, the best managers would always play this system around the players he has, I would say, with a certain level of this is how I want to play and do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say it's what Zealand just said there, like how learning about the world of football through the game. Like I also learned about the world of football through the game.
Yeah.
Because I was like very much a video games person first before football was. I mean, when I was young, before football was in my life. And it is genuinely, the less I've played it in the last couple of years, the less I've been good at my job.
Right.
So I don't know as many footballers. And FIFA and Pro Evo are a good example of that as well. Because I never play them now.
I learned all about the footballers the most when I was playing FIFA, like years ago.
Do you know what it is? It's even like, so as basic as this, say like, Ronaldo is a 91 rated player and he's playing and you just know that. And then you're watching Monaco and Mbappe comes along and you see him in the game, he's like 72 rated. You're like, well, I can tell he's not that. He's definitely like, this boy's amazing. Like Pedri, like he can tell he's a top 90s. And
so it gives you a base mark to prove wrong.
I think in my head, I'm pretty much always like can tell when players are good and I put like a value on them with like a current ability and a potential ability like in the game.
Right.
And so that becomes a thing. But also,
you love single digit model and statistical numbers like I was talking to Mark Carey about the other day.
Oh, I don't remember what that is. Before I forget what I'm going to say. No, there's and based on all of that, because like that's what I've learned with it. And like, we talk about football all the time, but there's like a feedback loop. Because Football Manager will listen, they'll watch Zealand and they'll listen to things, believe it or not, that I've said in the past in podcasts or like in written articles and stuff like that. Yeah. And that will inform their thinking on how things go. So
it's a very dangerous strategy.
Yeah, the game that hasn't influenced me, then not saying I influence anything, but other people who play Football Manager who are actually important and good, they will then write based off what they learned from the game, which will then influence what the game writes, which then feeds back, and that's what the world is we live in.
That's how,
which is simulation.
That's how all the AI slop is coming about, isn't it? It's like, the first layer of, I was talking to someone about this the other day, the first layer of data to feed into all of these big, like, large language models, or the learning models, is all fresh because it was all written by people and human beings. It's all of the articles that are published online, everything on Wikipedia, whatever it is that they're feeding in. But the second round is all the stuff that comes from the AI, which it splurges out and then goes back in to train new models. And eventually you have something which is completely unrecognizable. A fever dream of horror, Iain Macintosh, which incidentally is also your name for your system on Football Manager, isn't it?
I'm going to say that's actually my drag name. But what was the original question underneath all of that?
How are you going to start your setup, Iain Macintosh, when you first get the game?
A4 pad of paper, sharpened pencil.
He's so analog.
And a good cup of tea.
Really?
Because you need a good cup of tea. And then
Will you be putting the kettle on the hob to heat it up with fire?
Well, you want a teapot, ideally, because you want to refill as you go.
How many tea bags are you putting in the teapot?
One for me, one for the pot.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a good rule there.
Yeah, simple.
The one for one.
The trickiest bit, because I have to manage the under 18s and the under 21s as well, so I have to elbow the staff away, which I feel bad about doing because I haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
It's just that I need that hands-on control.
Yeah.
Because if you're not
control freak, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. At the under 21s, that's where you put senior players who aren't in the first team squad.
Right.
And you want to keep their conditioning at the right level. I can't trust a computer-generated assistant manager for that. I need to do that myself.
Do you do that, Zealand, or do you?
There is definitely, there are a couple of philosophical thoughts on this. A couple of schools of thought in the University of Football Manager. I ascribe to the one that if you manage your youth teams, then you succumb to some sort of mental illness. And that is what I believe we have on display here. So while I do think
that's fair.
Yeah, I think Iain should be institutionalized for what we've heard so far. It's a free country, so
stick with me, because once you're into the second season, which generally takes 3 months of real time for me, then the new gens start coming through and you get to work with them on the training ground when they're sort of 15, 16. You can get them more versatile. You can teach them player traits. Player traits are huge in this game.
Right.
And then it becomes like a fully immersive, almost Second Life style sandbox, to the point where I'm not even that bothered about results as long as I keep my job.
You want your young player development.
I want my young player development.
You're playing football coach.
Yeah, I think in
rather
some
than
ways
Football
I
Manager.
am.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I love to do, I might be the only person who uses Control and K opens up a note, like a little post-it note that you can put on your players. And you can add notes that you can keep referring back to. But those players, when they're out there in the game, the little yellow tag always sits there. So 10 years down the line, you find like these youth players who didn't make the grade, but are now at non-league level that you chance upon in the FA Cup. And it's like, oh, mate, there you are. 26? How did that happen?
I would add notes for when they don't respond the way they should do, like a human would in a press conference, or when you give them praise. So, like, doesn't respond well to praise.
Yes.
And then if they fall out with me, then I also remember that. So for later,
Absolutely.
to get rid of them.
I'm just trying to do the math on this. So if 1 year takes you 3 months, and you're saying you've made it 10 years in there, you make it on average like 6 seasons per Football Manager game. Is that what you're?
Generally,
4 to 6 seasons.
Yeah, so in the gap with no FM25, I've been playing FM17, and I've just had one save for 7 seasons, which lasted me pretty much since I left the Athletic in February. So, yeah, maybe 3 months is pushing it a
What's
bit,
your longest ever in-game time save?
Actually, only about 10 or 11 seasons for reasons that I'm spending way, way too much time on it. But it's the immersion that I love. I know it takes ages to get going, like particularly when you do it the way I do it. But to get to the point where you can just bounce on and play a game, just a single match, and then bounce off again, and that was your hour. Yeah, I love that.
That's nice. Well, what about you, Zealand? What's your system? What's your general approach from day one?
Well, I mean, my whole Football Manager experience is kind of warped. So I have a rule because I don't want to burn out on the game. That was a real fear of mine. It's something other people had talked about because I stream the saves, right? And I don't want to get to a point where I'm turning my computer on, just dreading the fact that the Football Manager logo is going to pop up. So I don't play any saves outside of the ones that I stream. At least I do for videos and stuff, but those are just kind of gadget saves or whatever, rebuild this team real quick. And those saves take on serious importance for people. And so there's just a certain way that you kind of have to go about it. Like, for example, if I take 3 months to play one season, there will be riots in the streets, right? There will be a meltdown. There will be death threats. Somebody's going to find my parents and kidnap them, right? There's going to be chaos. And so I have to approach the game in a way that is thoughtful but fast, so that people are able to connect with the team. They're able to connect with the players, but it also moves along. I would actually prefer if I was just sitting there in a nice pair of sweatpants, a nice cup of hot chocolate next to me, a cold winter's day outside. I would be moving slower than if I was actually streaming it. But the only way I've been able to play Football Manager for my own enjoyment for 5 years has been this way that it's almost a TV show. It's almost a movie for other people to watch. And that, while that is incredibly fun because then you have thousands of people that are shouting your regions and new gens names back at you, it also doesn't allow me to leave Post-it notes and spend 3 months in one season.
Yeah. You raise a nice point, though, about giving audiences the space to have relationships or connect with the players. I think that is one of the more fun things about these games is the kind of imagined...
it's the best thing.
Right, like the relationship narrative. Do you have a player? Is there someone from your experience of playing that sticks out from streams of the past or whatever, or from saves of the past that was your favorite, or that comes to mind when I say he was your best boy?
Oh, I'm pulling up a list actually right now. So we have there's a whole ceremony that goes into this, but there is a Google Doc that is sacred. It's called the Football Manager Lore Hall of Saints and stuff. And if you are one of those players that becomes larger than life, right? The people start ordering jerseys with their name on the back, even though they're not even real, but they are. You make it onto this list. Some of the best ones, though, is Nick McCootie, who is a real striker in the 6th division of England. Right. In over 2 seasons, while I was managing Taunton Town, he scored 103 goals. Wow. In the actual season that we played out, in real life, he scored 4 goals. So this was a complete pivot we went to Taunton Town to visit them, and Nick was the nicest guy ever. He signed a bunch of stuff for us, and we made a whole video just kind of hanging out with Nick McCootie. But when we were telling his teammates, they were asking us, who is the best player? We're like, it was Nick McCootie. He won Player of the Year. He scored 51 goals. One of the guys looks at me and he goes, I don't think Nick scored 51 goals in his entire life. So it's not even these like fake players. It's these real players that just have this whole alternate reality that's great. And no matter where Nick McCootie goes, there's going to be somebody that sees his name or sees him on the field and just the light bulb goes off and they go, wait a second. Do you know Zealand? Right. And he'll message me that sort of thing has happened. So it just creates this bizarre, incredible knock-on effect where for likely the rest of Nick McCootie's life, he is going to be inexorably linked with the fact that he scored 103 goals for me in a virtual game.
That's funny. I was talking to my friend about this the other day about James Bond and Idris Elba. And this, Zealand just kind of caused me to think of it because of this notion of like an alternate reality, an alternate timeline where Idris Elba does get offered James Bond, where Daniel Craig steps down earlier, Idris Elba gets it, and he gets to be. Whereas what's happened instead is that probably for the last like 15 years at least of his career, people have, and even before that, because he was like discussed as an option around the same time that Craig was given the role, people have talked to him about it. Journalists have asked him questions about it every year. I'm sure it comes up in almost every single wide-ranging interview. I'm sure his friends and anyone that he meets, parents of other kids at the school that his kids go to ask him, did you ever audition? What's the situation? Or, are you ever going to be James Bond? For something that never actually happened in real life to be such a huge narrative in Idris Elba's life. It made me think of Wesley Sneijder nearly moving to Manchester United, Nicholas Gaitan nearly moving. Like those two were players that were for about 4 or 5 years, every summer they were very closely linked with going. Neither of whom ever, I don't think, even played in England, right? But like, if they meet people from the UK, or they meet Premier League fans, or they meet Man United fans around the world, they'll always be asked about this thing, even though it's not even real. Never even really happened.
No, but I mean, I don't know if this is similar or not, but there are entire seasons where I have worked in the football media where I have confused my save of manager with real life.
Right.
But Kyle Walker did play for Southampton, didn't he?
Right.
That sort of thing. Where you're just convinced because you play the game so much that that's actually your reality and it's hard to separate the two.
Truth. Well, who was your best boy?
Oh, but I've had so many. I've been playing it since Football Manager, Championship Manager 3, whatever it was, 97, 98 back in the day. So I've gone through them all. But I think I'd be starstruck if I ever met Andri Sigthorsson, this Icelandic striker who went to the next big thing. But like all those came through, like Matthew Etherington, Simon Davies, when they broke into the first team. It's like, I know them because I've known them for a long time, the Peterborough boys. And right through to like, there are regens that come through that you consider to be your own, like your own children.
Yeah. And how does it work with the regens, by the way? Are they're just
they're called new gens now. It should be technical.
New gens. Yeah. Are they randomly generated? When you get one in your game, do they exist in anyone else's game?
No, they're totally made up. There are some players that come through. So some new gens come through with set names.
Right.
For example, I know some people that you can always look for their names that come up every single time, but they're totally random stats. Some things at their birthdays might be the same, but that just comes up. But they equates it with like how good your country's coefficient is and like the quality of training grounds and the coaches, and there's loads of different stuff under the hood that produces what players come through.
So you're unlikely as a new gen to get like the new best player in the world from the Philippines or something.
No, but it's possible.
Extremely unlikely for that to
happen.
Yeah. I mean,
that doesn't mean you can't dream though.
Right.
But one fascinating thing that happens is with the real players, Sports Interactive can't have sort of negative personality traits or some of the more interesting random events linked to them because they'll be in all kinds of legal trouble.
Sure.
But as soon as the new gens come through, you get players coming through where it, like personality, low determination.
Fickle.
Weak-willed.
Total prick.
Right? Temperamental's another one. And the thing is, you get really attached to them, and then say you find, like, I spend most of my time in the game scouting and finding players.
Yeah.
And then, because I'm always playing like with Aberdeen or a lower league team like Leyton Orient or something to try and get them to be better, and you got to find value. And so when you get them, you bring them up, and because they play loads, they get really good really quickly. And then PSG, Man City or Chelsea, like the big ones come along and try and take them away, and they start moaning. And if you keep them, it's good. But eventually you lose them, and then you just don't like them. Like you actively, and there are people you can fall out with in real life because they've done something to you in the game that you don't like.
Right.
Like, why are you moaning that I haven't bought a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't need one. That happens quite a lot.
So, Iain, if you were to choose Manchester United as an example in the new save.
Mm.
How would you fix them? I mean, what do you think's wrong with them?
I just think you just sell everybody, don't you?
Really?
Just everybody.
Everybody.
No.
Is there an option to do that in Football Manager?
I tried to do this. We talked about this, and I tried to do it.
Nuclear meltdown.
And I just based the whole team around Scott McTominay. Did pretty well.
Did okay?
Yeah.
Didn't hurt Napoli, did it?
Correct.
I always want a nice tight defensive unit, just defenders who can defend first and foremost, and a shield, at least one shield defensive midfielder who can break everything up, and then everything on the counter as well, lots of pace, and just focus on not losing games for a bit, build up a solid structure. But yeah, I'll be dumping players left, right and centre there and just bringing in, looking for your determination and your teamwork stats.
Yeah. Okay, that
Good
makes sense.
solid pros.
And if you had to pick another, of the Premier League teams at the moment, which one do you think, based on real life, is sort of primed for quite a fun challenge? Is there a team you think that hasn't really made it yet in real life, but is there ready for the waiting? I don't know, West Ham, for example.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking about West Ham earlier in real life, what fun that would be. And I think that's the obvious one because you have the ability to grow to become a very big team. You're based in London. You've got a free stadium. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a nice low starting point to get in there. But I also think Brentford, that's a really horrible job because they've done so well for so long.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for JJ because that is just all scouting. You haven't got the budget to bring in the big players. You've just got to be slightly braver. So one of those can be fun. And I think when you're playing that sort of save, you really appreciate the wins. And the problem with starting at the top, unless you're doing it as a practice mode, is it becomes you have to win every game. And every time you draw one, it feels like a disaster and it stops being fun.
Yeah.
Unless you do the top one in character. So I do that sometimes. So I've got a character called the Captain. That's not his full name. The Captain is very volatile and extremely aggressive. And will make everything attacking. He sticks to his principles. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fun to do it.
Yeah. Do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Pick a country.
Could I have England?
Okay, yeah. I think that's going to be hard, though. Okay, name the top 5 English football players for me, ranked by their current ability in Football Manager 24.
So Harry Kane feels like an obvious starting point.
Harry Kane's number 3.
3?
Harry Kane's number 3. He's got a current ability of, Harry Kane's number 1. You're absolutely right.
There you go. Saka's
number 2.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
We're doing really well. Current ability. Because it's 2023 database, is it Raheem Sterling?
Raheem Sterling is not here.
He's not there.
No.
So the decline had already sat in. I'm trying to be clever and outfox it.
I can see.
And that's why I'm going to say Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson is not here.
On a Thomas Tuchel kind of vibe. Because there must be a reason for why that keeps happening.
I can tell you, as a little clue, at the time, one of these players did not play in the Premier League. He played in the Bundesliga.
Played in the Bundesliga. What?
Yeah.
It's like the star boy.
Was it Jadon Sancho?
It wasn't. It was Jude Bellingham.
Oh, of course.
Very close.
Yes.
Very close.
Why
Okay.
did Bellingham drop out my head?
And then beyond that, there is a player that at the time played for a different team than he plays for now, but he got a big transfer in the Premier League. And then there's a Manchester City player.
Phil Foden?
No.
Jack Grealish?
No. John Stones.
John Stones.
John Stones had a current ability in the game of 166 in FM24. He was 5th place. And then the big money move went from West Ham to Arsenal.
Ah, of course, Declan.
Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Zealand, name a country.
Give me the US.
Okay, can you name for me the top 5 US soccer players ranked by their current ability in the Football Manager 24 game?
Joseph, I can. I'm going to go Christian Pulisic. Is obviously going to be
number 1. 151 current ability.
Yeah, so I guess he would have been right near the peak of his Chelsea powers when this database was being put together. So that's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
The problem is I think this is going to get a little squirrely towards the bottom, but Weston McKennie should be on there.
Weston McKennie is in at number 2. You're right.
Okay, good. And Tyler Adams, I believe, was a real hot topic before he started getting hurt too much. Tyler
Adams was in at number 3. Both of those players played for Leeds at the time.
Oh, wasn't that the golden days? Wow. Now I'm a little bit more up in the air about who this could be with 4 and 5. Because the US has this revolving door of players that are almost great, at least by the US standard, but they're 2 years ago. I'm not quite sure who that could have been. Would Timmy Weah have been there? Timothy Weah?
Timothy Weah was not there, but I can tell you that all the remaining players played in the Premier League at the time.
That makes sense. Football Manager does love to rate Premier League players higher. Matt Turner?
Matt Turner, the goalkeeper, was playing for Arsenal at the time. He's number 4. And then number 5, you can have one of 2 players who are sharing the same current ability rating.
Ooh, I'll try to get either of them. That just basically means this is easier, and I'm still going to mess it up. So are they both in the Prem?
Yeah.
Okay, they were both in the Prem. Well, if Leeds was in the Prem, is it Brendan Aronson?
Leeds were not in the Premier League at the time.
Well, I mean, if Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams were there. Damn.
One of them played for Arsenal. One of them played... Oh, if I tell you who the other one played for, it'll give it away.
It'll give it away. That's okay. There's only so many... I mean, it's a testament, really. Oh, Florin Balogun.
Yeah, Balogun, who I guess would have been very... Well, he's 21 at the time, I suppose, and not that young. But he played for Arsenal. And the other player was Anthony Robinson, who played for Fulham.
Oh, that's the bad miss for me. He's actually...
That's the bad miss.
Yeah, that's the bad miss. Okay.
He's a good player.
He is brilliant.
Well, as a final point here, I feel like I should admit something. I can't play the game. It's too hard. And it takes too long. And I don't understand how you start unemployed, Iain, because I always think whenever I play the game, I think, when does the game start? Like, where's the game? When do I get to play the game? I'm waiting for that first game of football. And then the first game of football happens, and it's a pre-season friendly against my under-23s. And I go, this isn't the game. And then eventually I get to the first actual game, and then I go, oh, the whole thing was the game.
Yes, that's very true.
It's just not mine.
However, you can change the settings so that it basically starts the day before the Premier League season starts.
Can I?
Yeah, so you just bounce straight in.
Oh, I should do that.
Obviously, you won't have the time to work on your under-18s, your under-23s, your set
fine.
pieces, your personal training
No, that's
regimes,
absolutely fine.
your under-21 sports scientists.
Yeah, can I pick the team and then they play?
Yeah, you tell them to play football, and by Jove, off they go.
That's the kind of football manager I would be, I think, if I was a real Premier League manager.
Brian Clough kind of, don't come in through Monday through Thursday, turn up on Friday.
Yeah.
Walk the dog around the training field.
Revise the org chart, pick the team, and then just move on. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. Have you got any tips for new players, JJ? Because it is quite daunting, isn't it?
There's that FM Touch version. It's just like a basic old version of it. So it's meant to be so you can just zip through a league. And then you probably then see what things you want to be able to change after that. And then...
Right.
So you don't have to change everything. You can also delegate everything to your assistants.
What about you, Zealand?
No, I think the biggest thing is it took me 3 years to start playing the game. I would just open it and do the exact same thing you were doing, and I would look at everything and I'd go, it's going to take me 10 hours to get to a game, and then I would just close it. But what I didn't know is that there is the staff responsibilities screen. Now, the UI on the staff responsibilities screen, like the interface, is diabolically bad. I mean, obviously in the new game, maybe it won't be. But if you can get over that and just go into staff responsibilities and go, I don't want to do scouting, I don't want to do training, I don't want to do anything but get to the match, pick the team, maybe talk to the press, then you can ease your way into the game instead of having to jump, both feet in and try and figure all of that stuff out at the same time. That's the best way to learn it by far. Also, start with a good team in a bad league. That just makes you feel good about yourself. Go manage Dinamo Zagreb, go manage Celtic. You're going to be beating everybody whether you mess everything up or not.
Nice. That's a good tip. Okay, great.
Never, ever watch on anything faster than extended highlights. I'd probably recommend comprehensive highlights, but never
do
go
not
on
listen
key
to
highlights.
a single thing.
Yeah, don't listen to anything Ian's saying. Yeah.
What happens with key highlights is it basically only shows you the big chances. So
he also watches it on 2D. He doesn't even watch the actual thing.
That's either you being about to score or them being about to score. And what it does, it convinces you your defense is crap, because the only time you ever see them is when they're about to score.
Right.
So if you watch it on extended or comprehensive, you'll get a far better idea of what's going right and what's going wrong. That makes it easier to fix things, and that makes it more fun to play. And the other thing, I believe this is implied from everything else that I've said, is take your time. Just take your time. It's fun. There's no prizes for finishing a season in an evening. It can't be done
Old man
now.
from boomer generation doesn't understand kids, huh?
Yeah.
Take your time, Ian.
Fusty old man.
Fusty old mother.
in here.
What comes in here? Telling me to take my time.
He's got a teapot. He's got a pencil.
You bought a house in 1960 for £1.
It was 74p.
It's 4 a.m. I'm still awake. The sun's coming up and I'm still playing this game.
Yeah, take your time though.
Yeah, take my time.
Take your time. Were you going to say something, Zealand? You raised your hand when Iain was talking.
Do you play on full match highlights?
There was one.
You can admit it. It's okay. Yeah, no, you watch the entire match, don't you?
I don't by habit, no. But there was a game when the other team were down to 10 men, and I really needed to win, and it was 0-0. And you know what happens? You sort of press play for it to go again when you've made your changes, and you don't get a highlight. That whole 10 minutes goes, and it just goes ding 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 ding. Full time, yeah, you didn't win, mate.
Scary,
and it's really annoying. And I did actually hit the watch full game, so I could sit there and
I do full match
look at
now and again. So I do it to try and figure out why certain tactics aren't working. So in the same way, like when I watch games, analyze them, I'll watch them on normal speed, and then when stuff's boring, I'll just like skip past it in like triple speeds. It goes through it on Y-Scout, whatever. But you have to watch, like you can't watch highlights of a game to be able to analyze. You have to see the stuff that's not there. So you have to see all the boring bits in between. And
stuff that's not there.
Yeah, you have to look for stuff that's not there.
Wow,
it's important. That makes sense to me, but maybe not to other people. But then if you've got a tactic that isn't quite working, or like Iain saying, nothing's happening at all, and you can't figure it out, you can watch and you can start seeing that there's a player in your midfield who keeps receiving the ball and he can't control it. So either your player, either he sucks, or there's something wrong with what you're doing with tactics, so you can put the ball out somewhere else. And basically, you need to think of the game. It's like Civilization, the game.
Right.
It is a lot like it. So like you need to play in certain ways, and you have to treat it like a video game and the strategy of it. Because like some teams will do a certain thing. So the solution to that thing is to do, say, if they're on the left, you have to go on the right. This is a basic version of it. You go on the right. Yeah. But the reason the game's still fun is because like real football, if your players aren't good enough to go on the right, you might have all the right strategy, but your players might not be good enough, or the thing they're doing might just not work that one time. Okay. And it helps you empathize with and understand the plight of many managers in real life who get it right, but the players get it wrong.
Well, we started this episode by talking about which Premier League manager would do best in a subsistence lifestyle. Now I'm curious to know which leader from Civilization 6 would make the best football manager. What do you think? I mean, you've got various different options.
Well, there used to be a glitch in Civ where they had an aggression rating for each of the leaders. And they put Gandhi's at 0, but the problem is the way they calculated that was that the 0 made Gandhi the most aggressive leader in the game because it was basically infinity. And so the meme became that Gandhi would just start nuking everybody instantly. And so I think if we take Nuclear Gandhi and we put him in as a manager in the Prem, nobody's going to stand in his way.
No one can stand in Nuclear Gandhi's way. It is a good answer. I was wondering if maybe Gilgamesh, just because early game, he loves to rush out there pretty quick. And I like a team that scores goals quickly and then doesn't worry about the second half as much. That's more fun to watch.
Yeah. I think it would take too long for you to go through all the different versions of what would happen here,
Yeah.
So I'm going to not waste
Pep Guardiola culture victory.
Well, you got Pericles, who his science gets rapidly accelerated by inspirations,
right?
Which is a very unorthodox way of doing things. So I think Pericles for Brighton, by changing the dynamic and doing everything the wrong way round.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like Pericles.
Well, if you're watching us on YouTube and you play Civilization 6, please leave a comment with which leader would best suit which Premier League team. I will enjoy to read that. I mean, I actually would like to read that.
I'll read that, yeah.
Unlike all the other comments that you leave. Yeah. That's it, I think. Thanks, JJ.
Yes.
Thanks, Iain.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zealand. And good luck to all of you in your fictional trials. Yeah. And of course your real ones, Iain Macintosh.
Yes, like the Route 1 podcast. It's football, fast, no faff. No episode is ever more than 15 minutes. We don't just talk about the big six. We talk about the whole world of football. Somehow we crowbar it in there. Get it right now. Get it from wherever you get your podcasts. And this week, you can get it on YouTube too. That's right. We're going up in the world. It's Route 1, football, fast, no faff.
Hey, Zealand, do they say the word faff in America?
No, that's a made-up word by you people. I have no idea what it means.
You got your slogan wrong. Idiot.